Hello and welcome to Sensational South. I'm Harish Upadhyay. Over the next 30 minutes, we bring you all the major news and newsmakers from South India. Our top story today comes from Karnataka, where despite objections from the opposition, the Karnataka Council passed the crucial anti-conversion bill. It leaves more questions than answers. Will it stand judicial scrutiny? We'll debate that, but first the story.
Several aspects of the bill have been flagged off by legal experts and opposition as problematic and tenable if challenged in the court of law. They say the bill interferes with an individual's right to marry a partner from a different faith and to choose to convert from one's religion for that purpose. Apart from that, it also tests the limits to which the state can interfere in the personal affairs of an individual. The law enables any person to raise a suspicion of forced conversion and lodge a complaint. The person who is converting and the person initiating the conversion are supposed to inform the district magistrate. The DM should be informed within 30 days of conversion. They also must appear before the DM to confirm their identity. The conversion stands null and void if the DM is not informed. The burden of proof as to whether a religious conversion was not effected through any force or allurement lies on the person who has caused the conversion. Passing the bill has triggered a war of words between the BJP and opposition in Karnataka.
हर गांव में प्रलोभन करके झूठ बोल करके कन्वर्शन करने का एक माफिया के जैसे काम हो रहा है उसका रोकने की जरूरत है.
I think there are a lot of people who are already going to the court on these issues. Gujarat, the Himachal Pradesh, things have already been questioned. There's a clear violation of privacy here, and there's also, more importantly, there's a clear violation of Article 25 as well.
Now the Christian community in Karnataka is preparing to challenge the bill in totality, and there are enough indications that it will end up in a legal tangle.
Well, there are at least three aspects of this bill which will be questioned in the court, and it will be a heated argument there. There are questions on whether it will stand legal scrutiny. To debate this, we have an eminent panel joining us today. We have Vivek Reddy from the BJP. We also have Vinay Srinivasa, who's an advocate from Bengaluru, and Professor Chambi Puranik, who's a political analyst. I'll come to you, Vinay, first. Why do you believe that this particular bill might not stand judicial scrutiny if someone approaches the court?
Harish, before we even discuss the fact that whether this bill will pass legal scrutiny, the first aspect to be judged for any law is, was there a necessity for a new law? What is it about this law that could not be covered by already existing sections in the Indian Penal Code? And the government has really not done anything sufficient to prove that, or already existing laws, Karnataka's existing laws on anti-conversion, the government has not done anything to show that new law was even required. That said, going forward, there are several aspects of this law which are very problematic, right? This goes against the basic tenets of criminal law. According to this law, if you're accused of conversion, it is up to you to prove your innocence. Normally that's not how it works, right? According to the Indian Evidence Act, Section 103, if somebody wishes to tell the court about a particular fact, it is their duty to convince the court, right? So if I'm saying that somebody is accused of crime, then the state has to prove that this crime has happened. But whereas this law actually reverses it. Secondly, when Article 25 clearly talks about the right to practice, profess, and propagate your religion, this goes against it, right? And the kind of law which Karnataka has brought about is shocking. It's even more draconian than the Uttar Pradesh law. So if you have to convert, you have to inform the district magistrate, you have to put up a notice, you have to inform them 30 days in advance. They're going to conduct an inquiry, and that inquiry report is going to be shared with different government officials. Yeah. They have to clear that report. And even post the conversion, there has to be communication. All of this is completely unwarranted, and it completely goes against stated constitutional principles which have been upheld by the Supreme Court over the years. Then again, the other problem with this law is in the definition section, right? Words like allurement are defined so broadly that there are many institutions, which even Christian institutions which run schools, right? I myself studied in a Christian institution. Now, the way this law has been worded, even if somebody offers education, that itself is going to be criminalized. If somebody offers any kind of charitable purpose, that itself is going to be criminalized, right? These are all the very fundamental.
So you believe there is enough room for someone to misuse this?
this law has been made for misuse. And if you see the run-up to this
Okay, I'll take
law,
that to
which,
Vivek Reddy.
yeah,
I'll take that to Vivek Reddy. Vivek, you're not just a BJP spokesperson, you're also an eminent lawyer from the city. Do do you believe that this law will stand legal scrutiny? Someone approaches the Karnataka High Court, or is it just Karnataka government playing it to the gallery by bringing in a bill like this?
Well, it will absolutely stand legal scrutiny. I don't know why my friend feels hesitant about it. See, conversion does not mean that it is a free for all. It doesn't mean that there could be outside influences exerted to initiate conversion. Here, the freedom of religion, the true purport and spirit of freedom of religion under Article 25 is significant. The real meaning of that freedom is that freedom of religion, that freedom that is contemplated by the Constitution, should be freedom without any coercion, undue influence, or any sort of a temptation or inducement. I think these are aspects of undue influence, which today have become a big challenge in the issues pertaining to conversion. And I don't know why my friend feels
But
that
Vivek,
there should
there's
not
one
be, where
aspect
was
of
the
the law.
necessity? Yeah, where was the
One
necessity?
aspect of the law that I want to highlight here is it gives everyone, enables everyone to complain. It could not just be my blood relative, but could be my colleague, my neighbor, my friend. Anybody could go and complain. It probably enables vigilante groups or even anyone who has a grudge against somebody to misuse this law. That's the fear here. And the
Well,
definition
Harish,
is so vague.
do you know one thing, Harish? There are 514 sections in IPC. It permits anybody to file a complaint in all the 514 sections. There is nothing to prevent anybody from filing a complaint. Does that mean to say that because of that vulnerability, conversions can go on continuously? These are focused or these are targeted against those cases of conversion, which have become a big mischief today. And who is the judge of the mischief? The previous panelist was saying that where was the necessity of such a law? Are not the existing laws enough? We have to understand that it is the legislature which is the best judge of the mischief that is there in society. And based on the mischief, the legislature will judge and pass a law. It is not the wisdom of any other person who may have various opinions of the law. It is the opinion. It is the common will of the people. It is the opinion of the legislature. On the basis of which
fine.
this
There's
act is
aspect of
drafted.
right to privacy
Therefore,
as well. I'll
in
come
order
to that.
curb that
But
mischief-
before that, I would go to Professor Puranik. Professor Puranik, do you believe that a bill like this was required in Karnataka? We know Mr. Guliati Shekhar went on the floor of the House and said there's mass conversion in my constituency, but the government report there indicated otherwise. It didn't say that there were mass conversions. Do you think Karnataka needed a law like this?
Well, Harish, as all of us know, and as a teacher of political science for last 45 years, what I say is political manipulation of religious identity in a multi-religious society like India, it can create a situation where apprehensions about so-called secular democracy or democracy per se, that can be maybe viewed in a different perspective. Now, coming back to the current, whatever the legislation that is passed on Thursday in the Legislative Council, I think, government has made it clear that this cannot be misused. It is only against forced conversion, and also with allurements of job, marriage, and other whatever social and other economic securities. So therefore, taking into consideration that the law itself, if it is challenged in the court, it can also be reviewed again by the court. But having gone through Article 25 to 28, there is enough protection for religious minorities to take care of this also. There is no problem as apprehension. As the particular focus Christian. Now, one point. I would like to make it a very clear point.
Okay, apart from Article 25, there's also a concern about right to privacy. Vinay, I'll come to you on that. As this particular bill says, they will have to apply to the district magistrate, then it will go to the district magistrate and the tehsildar. It will be up on the notice board for a good month or so. anybody can file their objections. Many believe that this violates their privacy. We've already seen over the last 2 days people jumping into a particular registered marriage process and saying this is love jihad. Do you believe that it not just in a way invades privacy, but also gives enough room for people to create trouble?
Yeah, absolutely, Harish. We've already seen what happened to the interfaith couple in Karnataka yesterday. Where people went in and started saying that you should not go through with this marriage. Why are you going through with this marriage? Did you not find another partner in our religion? This, that, etc., etc. So this provision has been built, like I said, for misuse, because this particular bill assumes that those who convert don't have a mind of their own, right? And why should the see what is the process of conversion? How can you forcibly convert somebody, right? If you're using force, like, are you going to hold a gun to somebody's head and convert them? And if you're going to do that, then that's already a crime under IPC, right? If you're going to threaten somebody, that's already a crime under IPC. If somebody is going to convert, they convert of their own free will. Why should a application be sent to the district magistrate? Why should they be informed? Why should the person who's converting also, their details have to be sent to the district magistrate? And this law infantilizes the people who are converting, and this law also infantilizes Dalits and women. If you see the punishment, if you convert women or
Yes.
backward class Dalit or backward class is more. So this particular government believes that Dalits or women don't have a mind of their own, and that this government has to step in and do that. Mr. Vivek Reddy was saying that the legislature is
Vivek?
competent to pass legislation in the right forum. I want to ask, what is the evidence which has been placed in the legislature to show that the existing laws are not enough, and where is the proof of this forcible conversion? And why has Mr.
Okay.
Vivek Reddy is a lawyer?
Vivek,
How can you
they're
have
saying
such
enough.
vague terms?
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, Vivek, there's the
first of
opposition
all-
and others
first of
saying
all,
that there's not
Harish.
enough proof. One, my question to you is, already the Gujarat High Court has stayed some of the sections of the Gujarat anti-conversion bill, and some of these sections are related to privacy, it's related to who can complain, pretty much similar to what we have in Karnataka's bill now. Do you believe that you can still pass it through if someone approaches the Karnataka High Court?
Harish, let me tell you one thing. Gujarat is different. Gujarat enactment is different. The features of the enactment are different. And Karnataka enactment is different. And Karnataka High Court also gives a large measure of leeway to the legislature to decide on its priorities. And this is not some sort of a court for, I don't know why the previous panelist is asking about this. Before the legislature senses the mischief. Please understand, there is a mischief of conversion through inducement and through undue influence. And the legislature is the best judge. If you look at the system of Indian parliamentarian system, which is adopted from the British system, the basic thing is you don't have to produce proof before the legislature. You don't have to tell the legislature that this is the proof. This is these are the material circumstances like you do before a court. The legislature judges.
Okay, since you're talking about system here, do you believe that by saying that the burden of proof lies on the accused, are you going against the traditional
Even
system?
the burden of proof, it is larger the measure of the mischief. Like in Dowry Prohibition Act, the burden of proof is upon the person asking dowry. Larger the mischief, the greater the burden. Larger the social evil, the greater the burden.
Okay.
I mean, these are choices made by the legislature. We are lawyers here who seek to execute those laws. We are not here to say that, look, this wisdom of legislature is bad because this degree of proof is not there, this much of proof is not there. Well, there is conversion. It is a mischief, social mischief. It is being based on inducement. It is against vulnerable people who are poor.
All right.
And who are economically weak. What is the solution for all?
Okay.
The legislature just looks by it.
Okay, Vivek, I'm afraid we are running out of time. Vivek, you believe the government had enough proof to bring in this law. We have to see if the Karnataka High Court also thinks the same. Well, thanks a lot for joining Vivek, Vinay and Professor Puranik. Now, moving from Karnataka to Kerala, increasing number of stray dogs attacking people on the roads has led to Kerala government looking at Supreme Court to seek permission to kill stray dogs, which they believe are dangerous. Neetu Raghukumar brings us this report.
In Kozhikode, A stray dog lunged at a young boy who was riding a bicycle. The boy was so taken aback that he fell off the bike. The dog bit the boy's hand and refused to let go. Finally, the boy tried to go inside a house, and that's when the dog let go of his hand and ran off. In Kannur, 2 students ran for their lives as a pack of dogs chased them. They spotted an open gate of a house, managed to get inside, and locked it just in the nick of time. These are just 2 incidents from Kerala in 2 days. There are many others which haven't been captured on camera.
I was coming to government hospital with patients. 5 to 6 dogs came in front and the vehicle fell to the side. We were 3 people in the auto. This is the first time something like this has happened.
There are an estimated 3 lakh stray dogs in Kerala. They will be vaccinated by the 20th of October. But for the long term, the Kerala government has approached the Supreme Court seeking permission to kill rabid and violent dogs.
2 action plans. There will be an immediate action plan and there will be a long-term action plan. Immediately, we are focusing on vaccination of stray dogs. Secondly, the ABC program of sterilization will be further intensified.
NGOs feel the state has to be thorough in identifying rabid dogs and not just cull strays en masse.
How can you be sure which dog is rabid, which dog is aggressive, unless you do a lot of observing of these dogs on the street? Once a dog is sterilized, a whole lot of male and female dogs, this aspect can be taken care of. Secondly, a proper vaccination camp has to be held annually by the panchayats and the corporation.
At least 5 people have died after dog bites, despite getting the anti-rabies shot. Kerala Health Minister Veena George has written to the centre to check the quality of the vaccine. Steps have also been taken to study genetic mutation in rabies virus.
Kerala government is organising a massive vaccination drive for stray dogs in the next 1 month. But this alone will not solve the issue of stray dog bites. A long-term solution which includes ABC programs, animal shelters and feeding centres are required. With video journalist Ablash MS in Thiruvananthapuram, Neetu Raghukumar.
Well, time for a short break now. On the other side, we bring you everything that's making news in South India.